Hello, everybody in Stagerland. Shell Brodnax here with Real Estate Staging Association, and I am here with Industry Insights, a COVID-19 special. I'm here with my beautiful guest, Bobbie McGrath. Bobbie, welcome. And Bobbie, we can't hear you. Oh no, this happens on every single one. Make sure your mic is back on at the top, and if not, just log out and log back in, or try to turn it on and off. And in the meantime, welcome Shauna Lynn Simon from Canada.
Thank you. Hi. And Logan.
And Logan. So I'd like some help just in testing our equipment to make sure that we don't have another technology issue, because Bobbie has left the room. If anybody out there is listening, can you type in the chat box that one, you can see me, and two, you can hear me, please? And we'll make sure this part of the technology is working beautifully. We'll just give them a minute here. Mm-hmm. And then everybody can admire Shauna Lynn's voice on her amazing microphone. I say it every single time. It's absolutely to die for. Thank you,
Shell's favorite microphone.
And thank you, Marisha. So yes, they can hear us and they can see us.
Hey, Leslie, Joanne. Welcome.
Yes, and
so a couple of Leslies from Canada. Leslie King and Leslie Redshaw as well. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Beautiful. We're going to give it just another minute for Bobbie to log back in, and hopefully her mic will reset itself. And Grayson. Hello, Grayson.
My cats are going to be very upset when I go back to work, I have to tell you. I don't know about you guys, but like if anyone's got pets, actually I have some tips for pets. Can I give some tips for pets on like what to do with your pets getting back to work? Because it's actually something that I talk about whenever summer vacation is ending. So I can give some tips when we get started too.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, we're going to give Bobbie just another minute. This is usually where we give people a little bit of time. We kind of chit chat. It's kind of like you're zooming in on us. You can see everything we're thinking. So we want that as people are still starting to join us. We don't get started too early because then people will meet it. So Bobbie's joining the meeting again. She should pop up any second. Just like magic.
Like magic. Bam.
Magic, man.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yay.
Okay. I switched headset, so.
There you go. So this is Bobbie McGrath.
Hey, guys.
Welcome. And Bobbie, can you tell everybody where you're from?
Originally or now? Right now, I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. Excuse me, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay. And where'd your granny come from?
Well, my granny came from Grand Junction, Colorado.
That's right. Back in Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado. Right. I got some few grannies. I was thinking, which one should I pick? You right?
Well, you always talk about this one granny that I enjoy hearing. Nanny. That's
Nanny.
It. Your nanny. Your nanny. Yeah. I love her nanny stories.
Yeah, nanny is. Yeah, if nanny could rule the world, the world would be a great place. Yeah, and we would all have fresh-made homemade noodles.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
There you go. And Shauna Lynn, you are in the Ontario province of Canada, specifically in the. Let me guess it. Kitchener.
Yes.
Kitchener.
There you go.
Very well done. Yeah. Kitchener. It's about an hour or so outside of Toronto, born and raised on Windsor. So I've kind of got some ears to the ground in Windsor for anyone who's dealing with border city issues right now.
Oh, Susanna's from Brazil. That's a long way.
Oh,
Thank
my
you
goodness.
for joining us.
Welcome.
That is fabulous.
This is beautiful.
And my girl Lori Peterson's on here. Hey.
Hey, Lori. Lori's children and I share a love of the equestrian sport.
Yes,
they're serious equestrians. They jump over the top of things. I chase cows. Only difference.
Okay. Hey, I'm just impressed if you both stay on the whole time you're doing any of that. That's good.
Yeah, no kidding. As long as you stay on the horse, we're impressed.
Because Granny B had the ranch with the horses, and I used to watch the people fall off the horses all the time. So,
well, if you're falling off, you should just get off. If you're bucked off, that's a different story. I've been bucked off, had a brain hemorrhage, and still got up and tried to ride. So
that's true.
Got to be tough.
Credit for that.
Susanna and Lori, good to have them here.
Very good. Yeehaw, awesome. That's it. And Lori's horses are probably 2 feet taller than mine as well. The thoroughbreds and the warm bloods, they're all big in the sport. So let's get started. COVID, boy, let me tell you, this has been quite a last few months. As everybody knows, we got a little virus happening in the world, and the world shut down, especially Las Vegas. We had to cancel our RESA Con and go virtual. We'll tell you a little bit about that at the end. But in general, just since March, has been when I started taking it really seriously. Other RESA staff members, Gina, knew it's all going to happen. And she kept saying, we should talk about this. I'm like, no. We're not talking about nothing. If we don't talk about it, it's not happening.
Not happening, yeah.
So we did have to reschedule some things, but we're all now getting back on track. And so we want to talk about today about some things that you can do to also get back on track. She told me, she's in the chat box going, told ya, she did. And this is where I go, she was right.
She was correct.
You can do it.
She was correct.
She was correct. Here.
Admitting that she was right doesn't mean you have to admit that you were wrong.
Wrong?
Right. What was that word? What?
So let's talk about some things that we can do to get stagers back on track. And then, of course, if y'all have any questions, please do type them in the chat box. We are monitoring that back and forth. So you're going to kind of sit in and listen to us chat about things and then post your questions and we will answer those as well. So one of the biggest things I think is there's been definitely some confusing information that's been put out since day one. It kind of goes back and forth a little bit, but most importantly, I think it is really important to still look to the CDC for some guidelines, or the World Health Organization for some guidelines. There's just things that are just smart and common sense to be able to do. So you have to make decisions for your own business of what it is that you're going to do. But most importantly, if you're going back to work and you have staff, is that you do want to protect them. So you need to develop your protocols, and you're going to need to do those in conjunction with what your personal beliefs are, what your staff's personal beliefs are, and what your state is allowing. So there's still certain states that are not allowing certain things, but if they are, you want some safety protocols. So number one, taking people's temperature when they get to work. Having masks available for those who want to use them. I know we're not going to get into a debate over masks or no masks. I happen to have worn one out last Friday, and got bullied for it by 2 teens. That's okay. I mommed them real nice.
Yeah, you did.
Look, that's all I got to say. If you're not going to mom your child, and I need to, I've raised 8 of them. I'll do them up real good. They're not going to be confused after I'm done with your children. You're welcome. I've now fixed them. They'll never do it again.
There you go.
However, you should have those things available for your staff members, because you're also going to be dealing with your clients, and you're going to have varied opinions all the way go. Mask, no mask. Have them available. Talk to your clients about what protocols that they want, and if they are insisting on something, that might be something that you're going to want to consider. A lot of people are still not even doing occupieds, right, Bobbie?
That's true, but there are people doing occupied. So it's running the gamut.
So with something like that, obviously you'd be an advocate if you got what your client wants as well.
Well, I look at it like this. If you're not comfortable going into people's homes, you're not providing occupied consultations right now in person. I mean, I've been doing remote. Right. So that's actually, I'll keep those on the other side of all this. So score for the industry. That's a great insight, being able to do the remotes. Right.
Yes.
But here's the deal. So if I decide that I'm going to do occupied consultation in people's homes, then what I would do is I would be the person who, definitely leans towards being overly cautious. I would mask, glove or gel. I actually keep a clip of gel. By the way, it has glitter in it. Gotta be me. But I have that, and I'm constantly putting on. I let them see the whole time I'm in the house that I'm doing that. So go through all of that. But hey, if the clients are uncomfortable having you in their house, guess what? They're not going to invite you in. So you're not going to get into their space. Do you know what I mean? So you can do the remote. So that's a good thing. So it runs the gamut. And I have different coaching clients, people who contacted me. I just say, look, you have to do exactly what you said. What's right for you, what's right for your client. And if in doubt, over prepare. If in doubt, overdo. Yeah. And then that way, because they can appreciate that and step back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I really have taken this seriously. I have 2 people within my home who are high risk. So when I look at this, I take that into consideration. So we're all adults. We sat down and had a conversation. So not only do I have a protocol for out in the world, I have a protocol for how I re-enter my home again. So when I come home, shoes go off. They don't come in. I then immediately go up and take a full shower. It's just something that we decided to do. And it's the same thing. We do things even with the food that comes into our house. And I know I've heard, yes, you should wipe down your food. No, you shouldn't wipe down your food. So based on my thought, we have a whole protocol about where the counter goes on the counter, how it gets wiped down. I'm the only one that does that. When I'm done, what do? I go take a full shower. So it's just, you have to do whatever it is that's right for you. And as we're transitioning through this, I just say, don't be reckless. But it's just like with anything. If you drive, don't be reckless. If you're in the grocery store with your cart, don't be reckless. Just
Well, I think, like you said, you have to do what you're going to be comfortable with, but also keeping in mind that what you think may not align with the people that you're working with. And we need to be respectful of that. I would suggest actually looking to as well, the National Association of Realtors, I know has put out a document about different protocols. In Canada, I don't believe that CREA has, but I know that the individual provincial real estate associations have. So OREA, I know, has, I believe the Alberta board as well. I'm not sure about all of them, but so things like, make sure that you're not touching doorknobs, you're not touching the light switches. And it's challenging, I think, for us as creatives. Most creatives, we're tactile people. Yeah. We want to touch and feel things. So I'm used to walking into a client's home and like touching the wood, the surface of their, touching their countertops. Like, it's just something I'm used to doing. Just don't. they probably don't want you to either, right?
It's so like, just say no. Granite.
No.
Right, exactly. So the other thing that I would like to add to that as well, and talking about the safety protocols, whatever you do and have in place, you have to make sure that they are well communicated to your entire team. And B, well communicated to your clients as well. So we have an internal document that's super detailed. It's like 4 pages long. We have a 1-pager for our clients that's just sort of a summary of what they can expect so that they understand what we've got in place. Yeah. You also should have signage up though. So for example, all around my warehouse, there are signs that say sanitize. As soon as you walk into the office, there is a sign that says stop, sanitize. Like, it's a big stop sign, says sanitize. Same thing at our warehouse. So we have these things in place. Does it seem like common sense that, well, people just know how to wash their hands by now, don't they? Give them the instructions, post the instructions, because here's the thing. For insurance purposes, it might be required, so you might want to check in on that. Yep. If you ever get inspected for anything and someone walks in and doesn't see that signage, you could be challenged for it. So you just, it's just kind of a CYA type of thing, or CYB, let's say, cover your butt. Make sure, don't assume anything, don't take anything for granted. I mean, I've got a fairly small team. There's only 5 of us, so I've provided all of my team with their own thermometers at home, just take their temperature before they come in, so that we're not, I didn't buy one of the ones that like is non-contact, whatever. They're about $200 or so, $150, $200. I just bought them all individual thermometers. They are required to use their thermometer prior to coming into work every single time they're coming in, period. We're working on the honor system on that. So that's the other thing. Choose what you want to work on. Honor system, choose what needs to be documented. I've had all of my employees sign off that they are willing to work, and that they understand that they reserve the right to refuse to work, and especially if they approach anything. So right now we're only doing contactless services, and to be frank, we're not allowed, there's certain services we're not allowed to do, but we are allowed to deliver staging items to a home. We're just doing it to contactless. So if my stager shows up and the homeowner is hanging around them while they want to unload their stuff, they reserve the right to say, I'm not dropping this stuff off until you go into your house. So these are the things that it should be communicated to your staff and communicated to the clients what those expectations are. So all of my employees have signed off that they understand the risks. I also had to contact my insurance company to ensure that all of our contracts cover us for example, for these drop-offs that we're doing. What happens now if that homeowner picks up an item, goes take it in the house and trips and falls while they're carrying it? Who's responsible? So that required a different clause in our insurance or in our contracts that we didn't have previously that says not only are they taking the liability of the actual items themselves, but they're also taking the liability of having to move those items. And if they injure themselves doing so, we're not responsible. So these are all things to consider if you've changed your services in any way. Think of how that's affecting your clients.
Well, that's why it's great to be part of that RESA Shore program. That's part on too through what's the name of the insurance company?
Villanova.
Villanova.
Yeah, it's like, that's wonderful. I've encouraged everybody to take a look at that and to be a part of that. And wasn't there an addendum that was written and posted for us?
Yeah, I asked Joe to write an addendum. We based it off of the California Association of Realtors put out an addendum for the agents. NAR may have put one out that trickled down. It's probably up from NAR and trickled down throughout the different states. But at any rate, we sent it to Joe and said, can you make something similar for stagers? And he did. So that's for RESA members. It's in the members only resource area. So Denise Jad just asked about that. So yeah, there's absolutely a form for that. You can put it onto your contract. So check that out.
Once again, RESA came to the front for us because it's like that. And I just, and everybody who's watching this, go back and look over this information again, because I know we're getting questions about specifically for home staging. Most of the time, they don't even mention home staging. They don't mention most things out in the world. So RESA's done a really nice job. HQ there has done a great job about compiling that information as they can. And if you're going to go any place in the world to find as concise as available, that's where you can go. Right. So just know that. So go to that. It's there available for you. All you got to do is take the time to look.
Yeah. And about the RESA Sure program too, to add on to that, if you sign up for that, Joe, who's the attorney, will actually review your contract. So if you need a clause like the one that Shauna described, he will do that. Or contact your own attorney to be able to write one. Just so you want to make sure it's very specific to your business, because what works for Shauna, Lynn might not work for somebody else. So definitely want to get your own counsel on that.
And I think it's important too for the occupied people out there. A lot of times we don't have contracts because we're providing consultation services. We're not necessarily moving furniture, bringing furniture in, that type of thing. So
it's a different conversation.
Yeah, and it's a different contract. It should just be. Right. And there's I had a photographer. He says, I don't like contracts. He goes, I have a memorandum of understanding. And I thought, what does that mean? And when I looked at, I watched Judge Judy. I know it's written down, meeting of the minds. It's a contract, but I like
call it whatever you want.
Idea. Yeah. But I looked at it and I thought, it changes the way that it's perceived. So you know me, I'm all about words, right? So that memorandum of understanding, I was thinking, I think that fits my business model, fits me and the way that I approach my clients. So, but in the end, it is a contract. So I will have Joe review my memorandum of understanding.
There you go. Yeah. I would like to call them agreements.
There you go.
Agreement instead of contract.
But come on, memorandum of understanding.
That's a good one.
Right? It's my Maui moment or my
MOU. Yeah.
MOU. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out.
So Joanne is asking, but that was for Americans, right? Unless it's changed recently. I think she's referring to
the RESA Sure.
The RESA. Oh, for the RESA Sure. Yes, I believe. Well, as the last time I talked to them, it was in the U.S. only. I believe they were trying to work on Canada. So check out Villanova Insurance. Check them out, Joanne, and they'll be able to let you know if they've made any headway with that. But I believe the staging addendum can be used anywhere. I don't believe that's restricted to just the U.S. in case you were wondering about that one.
Yeah, but it still might be an idea to have your lawyer review it. Like we basically, and like just sort of on that point, non-COVID related, we have our contracts reviewed annually, and we add, because throughout the year you think of things that maybe need to be added, tweaked, changed, whatever. So we tend to have our contracts renewed either annually or every couple of years because things change in the industry. So this year, not only is it COVID updates that we've got that are getting done, but we had other updates that were due to be done anyway. So we've had our lawyer go through with a fine tooth comb, and let me tell you, I mean, it's worth every penny.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I would say that in general, new stagers getting into the industry don't see the importance of investing in their own legal counsel. And the only thing I can stress is that this is the foundation of your business that is it will save you or it can destroy you depending on the situation. And it's definitely worth it. I know I just moved to North Carolina recently and I opened up horse boarding stables. First thing I did was hired a North Carolina attorney to write my agreements. Things are very different. I'd never ran a stables before. I'd been around them enough, but this is my nest egg. I'm not going to wing it. So it's it's always worth it to get good legal counsel.
And also keep in mind, as people are building and growing their businesses, when they want to sell their business, having strong contracts is also a fabulous asset.
It is.
Absolutely,
so to be able to have a strong, have that to be able to say, here, this is, that's big.
Here's the other thing. When you have a strong contract, when your clients read it and they can tell that it's been written by a lawyer, like there's like, I like to try not have too much legal jargon. I tell my lawyer that, like, let's dumb it down a little bit here. But nonetheless, it's clearly, it's well articulated, it's well covered. And here's the great thing. So, you know, when you get those clients every once in a while that don't like something in your contract and would like to amend it for their project only, I always give the same response. We don't adjust our contracts on a project by project basis, but I'd love to take your feedback and I will present it to my lawyer at our annual contract review. Shuts them up every single time.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time. I like it. I'm a word girl. Got to hear that again. One more time.
Oh gosh, how do I say this? So what I say is, you know, we don't adjust our contracts on a project by project basis, but I appreciate the feedback and I will be sure to review that with my lawyer at our annual contract review.
Oh, I'm just thinking of that framework of what you just said and all the different areas that can be used in. Because I have that naturally, I'm sure you understand, sandwich. You know, I say naturally when this and this and this and this happens, you know, of course there's this, here's my fee structure. I'm sure you understand. So
right.
I love that. That was very good.
Yeah, it's like the power of the policy, right?
Right.
To your point, naturally our policy is such and such to protect ourselves and you and whatever, you know, I'm sure you understand. So yeah.
And it's so funny because how can they not? You're being so reasonable.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, like I know we've kind of got a little bit off the COVID topic, but seriously though, like I mean, this is a great example of, because I can tell you that I'm not the only stager that did not have a force majeure clause in my contract prior to all that's happening, but you can make damn sure I got it now.
Everybody should have it now. This has just changed the way everybody needs to think about their business. But Bobbie, you mentioned a great word a few minutes ago, asset.
Yes. Yeah.
Contracts are your assets. Guess what else is a great asset when you decide you want to sell your business? Policies, procedures, your employee handbook, your SOPs, your standard operating procedures for your entire business. So now going through this, all these new safety protocols due to COVID-19, that's a blessing when you're going to want to sell your business. Absolutely. Because now those things are now assets to your business. They're already written in, they're proven, you've gone through them, you've had to tweak them, what did work, what didn't work so well, what did you fix? And when you write that all up, that's worth something.
It is.
Well, and keeping in mind, I mean, obviously every area is dealing with this virus at different levels and different stages, you know, and same thing with the whole reopening. And I know in my area, for example, we are in the process of reopening, but the Premier of Ontario has made it very clear that if a second wave does hit, he will shut us back down. So now we're going to have to go through this whole reopening. This is not a one-time deal. Everything that we've got in place here, and these safety protocols will be in place from what we're being told, at least the next year. Sure, some of them might lighten over that time, but this is not, it's not a waste of time by any means. You know, it's going to be time and efforts and money very, very well spent for sure.
Well, I'm looking at, again, the remote consultation portion of the business. You know, everybody figured out what works for them, gets their system into place. And I know that many people were very generous with sharing what was working for them. So, you know, so if it works for you, and I look at it as now I can stage anywhere in the world.
Same. Yeah.
Right. And so that's wonderful. So looking at it too, it's like, you got to make the decisions about fee structures and things. How is my fee structure? Is it going to be the same? Is it going to be different? Because it's a different skill set to do the remote consultations than it is to do live. And I'm just going to talk the occupied side because that's what I do. But yeah, I was looking at this thinking, you know what? Everyone, there's like no one that's not included in this has been gone through this, right? So we all have this point and the ability to sit down and use this time as we're transitioning, getting back into the world and writing down all of those policies and procedures and everything. You guys, you do that now little bit by little bit. And when you change things and change it, oh my gosh, I've got someone who's building her business here in Raleigh and she's all about that. And now what she's realized what she's building, she's so excited. She's, you know, already thinking about selling her company. And so she's been being so focused on that. It's fun to see. I love to see it when a business, someone who has a business turns into a business owner.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And so I think that's what's really happened to a lot of people during this time.
And I know Lisa was asking about whether or not RESA has any examples of those, of the standard operating procedures and that sort of thing. I mean, if it's for the COVID related ones, I know there's a lot of things that have been put out. I know that as SLS Academy, I've provided some things as well. But I would say in terms of standard operating procedures for your business, most training providers do provide that type of thing. So I don't know that does RESA have anything specific?
Well, I think she was mentioning specific to COVID. So we do have a COVID-19 page. I just reposted the link that Vanessa posted a few minutes ago. So anything that's standard operating procedure related to COVID, we've put information, disinfectings, what we recommend, touch points when you're destage from the back of the house forward, wipe down all the touch points on your way out, things like that. And then anything else that you can think of, or look to the CDC or the WHO, and you can always add to it. Got to do what's right for your own business.
How many of you have been able to find Lysol wipes?
No,
I haven't seen them since.
I bought a whole lot of sanitizer and I put it in spray bottles.
Well, you know what I did? Somebody had mentioned this. I thought this is a simple solution. Was she takes her Ziploc baggie and then she puts alcohol in there with paper towels, because paper towels don't disintegrate. And then she's got her wipies. So she keeps them in her truck, and then whenever she gets in and out, she wipes her, handles down and stuff. And it's easy, it's inexpensive. You can find alcohol, but you can't find, we're starting to see sanitizer here, but I haven't seen a Lysol wipe. I found a can of Lysol out in my garage. It had been out there so long it had rust on the bottom. I bet you I could have sold that thing for $50.
I'm telling you.
Our local distilleries, where I live, local distilleries moved to making hand sanitizer. So I bought, and so it's a much more liquidy hand sanitizer. So instead of just buying like the straight alcohol, it's actually like been produced by them, and I put it into spray bottles. And so we have them, and you bring up a good point about having them in your car. We have like kind of stations of these. So we have like a set in the vehicle, two sets at the warehouse, one set in our trailer, another set at the office. So we have just like a little bag that has paper towels and this sanitizer spray. I think that's also key, is that we kind of have our little kit set up. And I apologize, there's going to be a tail in the camera again. I'm so sorry.
That is okay. I know where I live, we when all this started to get going, I could not find toilet paper for weeks. Yolanda Tillman almost mailed me some. I'm not lying to you. It was like, she's like, oh, I've got some, I'll mail it to you. But I finally found some rubbing alcohol, the like 89 or 90 something percent. I did find that at a Dollar General, and I put it in spray bottles as well. So we have one in the truck.
There you go.
Squirt your hands when you come in and out of anything. I'm allowed off the property for about 90 minutes a week.
Hey, and your phone. Everybody should make sure they wipe down their phone.
Yes.
And their keys, their car keys, because it's like
even
you
just
go to
having
the grocery store,
Well, even just having the practice of, for example, like I will not take it so I do wear face masks. It's pretty standard practice here that most people wear face masks for pretty much everything. So I wear my face mask, but I won't take my face mask off until I've sanitized my hands.
Yeah.
Right. It's things like that. Right.
Yeah.
And making
sure.
Think
in order.
Right. And I have a washable mask. And so if I just wore that mask in the morning, I'm going to wear it again in the afternoon. Don't be grabbing it. The outside of the mask is the part that could potentially have the virus on it. So unless you're spraying it down, which again, I use my hand sanitizer spray that I just spray it down, but still, just using we're all going to be a little OCD after all of this, I'm afraid. But just using common sense. And again, what works best for you. There's no foolproof guarantee that's going to protect every single person out there, but
well,
do what you feel comfortable with.
And this is what my mom was so very happy to say to me. Your mom was right. Wash your hands.
Right.
Like, okay. And I thought, well, I'm a mom. I was right too, because I said the same thing. So
I mean, I was definitely washing my hands long before it was cool. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh, yes. By the way, I do put glitter in my hand sanitizer. And it's a really good reminder. And it also lets the people around you see that you've got it on. That's why I do it with clients.
I'm clean.
They see that.
I'm sparkly clean.
I'm sparkly clean. Yeah. But that's been fun. It's been, you got to find your happiness where you can.
Yeah, exactly.
That is so funny, Bobbie. At my house right now, back to the horses, we put these things called screenings in our paddocks, and it's crushed stone dust.
Okay.
It's like smaller than sand.
Okay.
But everything sparkles right now.
Oh,
Everything's silvery, sparkly. Like from head to toe, I can be
See,
sparkly.
there you're an angel.
That's
That's
awesome.
it.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's
I
it.
love it.
That's
Cool.
totally it. So Grace Ann's saying, wipe the bottoms of your purses and your briefcases. That's so true.
Very good
You know,
point.
I don't know
And
if they
shoes
do
as
that
well.
in, well, are bars open? Some bars aren't open. I know in
Not here.
California and some places they have the little hooks underneath the bars to hang your
Yeah.
purse.
Love those. Yeah.
Man, I love those. Restaurants should have those.
You can also have your own.
There is a
girlfriend
portable
gave me-
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she gave me one. It was great. So when I travel, I just poof. Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
Those are great. But yeah, if you have to stick it on the floor, I mean, just anyways, just, ugh. There's
I
some
know.
grimy stuff on floors sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. You got everything's just different than how we used to do it. You know, it's just using common sense and doing what feels.
You know, I think another whole process of this has really caused me anyway to think about distilling everything that I do down to what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word they say? Are not expendable, but necessary. What's the word they say? Are you a such
Essentials?
and such? Essential, yeah. So I've actually looked at what are the essential services within my business.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized was there was a bunch of little, crap that I was doing, didn't really matter. And so when I really had the time to really think about it, I thought that was all filler. So I've actually taken the opportunity to kind of erase that stuff and get back to the
Back to base,
core
yeah.
Yeah.
and really look at where's the true value. Because I think sometimes we get so bells and whistly that we never think about the bike, right? And so now I'm back to thinking about the bike. And so a lot of those bells and whistles, they're fun, yeah, but they really didn't move anything forward. They really didn't do much. So it's been kind of interesting, that whole essential thing.
Well, and you bring up a really
interesting.
good point, though, too, Bobbie, because, I did a webinar, I think it was last week, about restarting your home staging business. And one of the things that I talked about was kind of exactly that, going back to basics, because I think that all of this had a lot of people kind of panicking of like, how can I make some quick cash? And I get it. We all need money. But you also have to kind of go back to what's going to reflect your business properly, what's going to align with you. So as you're reopening, think about that in terms of what services you're offering. And don't feel like you need to offer a service if you don't feel that you're going to be able to provide
Thank you.
the standards and the quality that you normally provide. So for example, we're doing these, we're calling them porch drop-offs. Other people are calling them do-it-yourself stagings. We just didn't like that term.
Yeah.
We feel like porch drop-off accessory package is what we're calling them. And they're super detailed. So where people are asking like, oh, is it cheaper? No, because we are planning this so much more detailed and we're taking photos of every little vignette. We're labeling every single item. We're having to clean everything. Like there's just a ton of work that's going into it. And our clients are loving it. All the instructions we're giving, it's super easy to follow, including like how high they're going to hang up their artwork. Everything is covered in this. We wouldn't have done it anything less than that. It's not like we're just going to pack up a bin of accessories and say, here you go, good luck. So, but if that's your model, if you're just kind of that quick and dirty, get it done, by all means, but go back to the basics, go back to why you got into this business in the first place, what really motivated you. My goal was to help homeowners. So if the things that I'm doing, if I don't feel like I'm actually helping them, I'm not just going there to make rooms look pretty. Yes, that's the end result.
Yeah.
But I am helping homeowners to make their process easier for them. So if I'm not doing that in a service, then I'm not offering that service.
Yeah, I think that's important. It's I'm seeing a lot of reactive things where people are also they're doing stuff for nothing. They're figuring, well, they're probably afraid for me to be around them, so I'm going to charge less. I'm thinking, what business model is that?
Right.
I mean, and I'm looking at my own, like I have a hair appointment. I don't know if I'll be able to keep it, but I have a hair appointment. I'm so excited just to have it on the books, right?
Right.
I don't know if I'll be able to go, but what they said was they were explaining their protocols. And usually when you would go down there, you park downtown and they validate your parking. And they go, and there's certain things, well, they sent this letter out and I thought the clarity was great. And it said, the topic was why parking. And so what they said was, you're probably wondering why we are no longer validating parking. And they said, because due to COVID, we now are offering insurance to our hairstylists, which we hadn't in the past. So we need to find the money for that. plus the different protocols we're putting into place has increased our costs to have anyone even come into the salon. And so we needed to see where could we cut. And they, it seems like, well, it's only $4 or $5. They said, but in the end for us, when we looked at the bottom numbers, it was $10,000 a month.
Wow.
And so, do we, provide you with free parking, or do we provide insurance for our stylists? And they said, these are the decisions we've made. So things have changed, naturally, I'm sure you understand, right? And I did. I thought, it's a great naturally, you understand sandwich. And I do.
Oh my gosh.
But I think you also bring up a really good point, though, Bobbie, is that there's, put thought into the things that you are implementing, the way that you're doing things, and do your best, obviously, to be transparent and communicate that. But also on the reverse side of that, give the benefit of the doubt. I know that, recently, so we have where as a part of the reopening, churches are allowed to resume, but funerals and weddings are still limited to 10 people. So people, of course, ask the questions, well, if church is able to resume, why are funerals and weddings limited? And they said, great question, because they had the same question. This was actually the premier in his address yesterday, the day before. I have no concept of days. I apologize. But anyway, so what he was saying was, he said, it's a great question. The answer actually came from the health ministers that said it's because people travel into town for weddings and funerals. So the contact tracing of them is so much more challenging that if you have 200 people and something does happen, the contact tracing of it is just too difficult.
Now, okay, Shauna, Lynn, right there was common sense. And I'm just saying, we're not saying a lot of common sense. That makes sense to me.
Right.
I couldn't understand it. That makes
perfect
sense. I'm sure you understand.
Right. But that's why I'm saying, so, instead of challenging why a business is doing something, and feeling like, because I get that there's going to be a lot of inconveniences that we're all going to be experiencing over this next year. So all I'm saying is just kind of come from a place of understanding. You are welcome to question why something is the way that it is, but come from a place of, general trying to understand, as opposed to, I can't believe you did this. Why would you do this? Like, I had it happen once where my webinar platform went down. So the replay that was supposed to still be available, someone couldn't access it. And they're like, and so I got an email that said, I can't believe you took it down. You told me I had 3 more days for this. Why would you do that? And I replied back, so the platform was down. It's back up and running. Here you go. But I don't understand why that wasn't the question. So all I'm saying is, let's just be kind to each other and use,
for sure.
Give the benefit of the doubt wherever possible. Yeah.
And, as people are having higher costs with the the cleaning and all of those things, just explain that. I mean, you just explain it. People understand it's the difference between understanding from a business perception versus thinking they're trying to get one over on me.
Right.
And so by being proactive, me, I'm all about the communication. So I think that's a really good point. Really good point.
Absolutely. Well, let's switch gears for just a moment, because I'm sure you've understood that there's a virus out there. We had to cancel RESACon live. So we are doing RESACon virtual, and both of you, lovely ladies, are speakers this year. Do you want to tell everybody, Shauna Lynn, what is your topic?
So it's actually kind of ironic, further to what Bobbie was just saying. It's actually called How to Raise Prices and Gain Clients. And naturally, I've made some updates COVID-19 related, because I do understand this is a sensitive topic for people. So I will be covering how to manage pricing during the pandemic as well as post-pandemic, and how to manage that aspect of it. So yeah, super excited about it.
Yeah, awesome. Bobbie, what's your topic?
I can't remember what the title is. I know what it should be. I've been doing this whole thing. It should have been the Black and Blue University, the School of Hard Knocks, right? The school colors are black and blue. Because what I'm going to talk about are the mistakes, like the many mistakes commonly this make, and how to avoid them. And the funny thing is, I tell people all the time, the definition of experienced is you've made the mistakes. Well, I am a very experienced stager. And so what I want to do is I want to share some of those, because we don't have enough time for me to share all of them, but some of those mistakes that are pretty common, especially to those who are beginning their businesses. And then as they're transitioning to starting to grow, I think it's a pretty good fit for that. And just look at, here's the mistake I made. Here's, what rectified. And here's when you see these signs, listen and you can, react. So that's
Red
what I'll be
flags.
talking about.
So actually your title is called Being the Solution to Whatever You Find Behind That Front
There you go.
Door.
Okay, being the solution
like
behind whatever you find. And behind there, you will find me wearing a T-shirt from the School of Hard Knocks, and the colors are black and blue. That will
There
be
you go.
I should make a T-shirt for that.
There you go. So what we're doing a little bit differently this year, obviously, is we have to do this in webinar format. We just can't get everybody across the country to go to Las Vegas at this time. It was very disappointing, but I think the team has done an excellent job of pivoting. Just like in your business, we had to do that as well. So we are going to now do, each session will be 1 hour long, followed by 1 hour of a breakout session with Q&A. And that's what you'll be able to go one-on-one with the speaker, ask questions where he or she will be able to delve in a little bit deeper and get all those questions answered. So this is a great opportunity to be wherever it is that you are in the world to be able to jump onto these things. So it is July 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. On the 22nd, we are now going to have some happy hours by some of the training providers that are exhibitors at RESACon.
Yep.
They will be hosting these, so we'll have information to go out about that. That way you can get to network, see everybody a little bit more than you might have been even now with COVID. And then in addition, we'll have 2 full days worth of speakers. And again, 3 sessions run at a time. You'll pick 1 session to go to live. And then if you do the full VIP experience, which is only $249 for RESA members.
That's deal.
I know.
Deal. Yeah.
I know.
That's what like one short webinar costs, right?
I was scratching my head going, I don't know about that. But yeah, it's we understand that people are in a pinch, and we just want to help. So this is what it is to be able to get it at this great cost.
Very
so
generous.
You can do the VIP, you can go live, and then you will also get all the recordings from this year's. They'll be put into a vault, into the library. You'll have access to that, so you can watch those on demand. And then you'll also get last year's sessions as well. So if you didn't go to RESACon or you missed some, you'll get those as well through the VIP. Amazing. If you don't want to do the VIP, you can buy single sessions as well. And you just have to catch those live.
And Lisa, you're on your own for the cocktails, but if I could send you all a glass of wine, trust me, I would.
Hey, let's talk about the cocktails for a moment. This is a great idea, Liza, or Lisa, I'm not sure how you're pronouncing that. Great idea. I tried to actually make it happen because that was one thing we wanted to do. Was
I thought about that, yeah.
And we were going to have it delivered.
That's right.
But it's another thing that the minimum cost that we could get was about $20 a kit. And you still had to provide your own alcohol with that, but it was little kits and mixers, and we tried a bunch of different ways to try to make that happen. Yeah. So we were not able to make that happen this particular year.
But and to Christine Ray's point, there, U.S. and Canada borders, they just announced, are closed still through the end of July now. So we wouldn't have been able to come to Vegas. So that would have. So this is a great solution that allows anyone who can't travel, and it also means that anyone worldwide, for that matter, that normally the travel costs were prohibitive.
That's right.
This is a great opportunity for sure.
This is going to be a great opportunity for everybody who's ever wondered.
Yeah, what exactly it's all about, and what you learn.
They'll be able to see, because that's one of the things. And so I think that this is actually a wonderful opportunity. So do we know? Is there a maximum amount of people that we can process?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so
it's all online, so it's not likely we'll get 1,000 people logging into one, but I believe our webinar jam system can handle quite a bit of people. But perfect. I don't. The only thing that could go wrong, because their webinar format is the technology, as you saw today. Somebody might not be able to hear. You have to log back in, but we're doing our best to make sure that all of our speakers are going to be educated. Turn off all your Wi-Fi, try to hardwire if you have to. We'll do things to try to mitigate those circumstances, but it should go pretty smoothly. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think
you've done a fantastic job with pivoting it, and again with the pricing and everything else. Like I look forward to RESACon every year. I am going to miss seeing people, of course, in 3 dimensions. I've been missing 3 dimensions for a long time now. I mean, social distance runs with a buddy of mine. I'm like, you're a person in 3 dimension. I can see you. I think we're all going to miss it, but I'm also looking forward to the opportunity to really come together. It's going to be, because I know, I love the idea of the 60 minutes of Q&A, because it gives that networking that you're used to getting. So it doesn't feel so much like it's just one person constantly talking, and technically that's still kind of what's going on, but you got the chat going on. It feels a little bit more interactive that way, I think. Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yep,
I'm excited about it. I can't wait.
I'm excited. It was a nice pivot. I think the team did a good job, like I said,
Very
pulling it
nice.
together. Also, the Home Staging Industry Awards are going on. Voting should have just wrapped up, I believe, or is about to.
Yeah.
Any moment, if it didn't already, I don't know what time it is in California. I can't subtract on the 45-minute mark.
It's 1:46, so it stopped 46 minutes ago, right? Wasn't it through 1 p.m.?
I thought it was 1 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, I thought it was noon. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But nobody quoted it. We're pretty sure it's done.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But that's going to come out soon. So when we're going to announce all the winners. And so we'll be doing that as well. And that's going to be broadcast to everybody. So you don't have to be part of buying a ticket to RESA in order to get that. I'm really thinking we're using I think Facebook with watch parties. I think that's how that's going to go. We're still working on the actual
and let me just say this. I got to thank you, Shell, because Shell has been juggling, trying to get through all of this technical stuff. And it's like trying to herd cats, I know. And she just keeps, every once in a while we talk on the phone and I just think, oh, thank God it's you. Because I would have just lost my mind by now. But I'm really looking forward to it. And I think the awards will be a fun time and it'll be different. And I'm going to use it to invite all my agents.
It's a great idea.
You know,
what
I'm
a good
going to invite
idea.
all my agents, you guys, hey, because I entered, I don't know if I'll be a top 10 or any of that stuff, but that's okay. I would say, we'll see what happens so that they'll be there. Maybe they'll find out more about RESA. And then I know that there's like an agent that I'm supporting for Agent of the Year. So I'm inviting all of the people from her office to be watching, right? And so I just decided I'm going to turn it into, and I'm going to call my mom and my sister and my brother and my dad, and we'll just see if we can break the machine.
That's a great idea. There's so many times, and I'll be the first one to tell you, my husband has no clue what I do.
Yep.
The man has never come to RESACon once.
Yeah.
He's never seen me on a stage and to speak. I mean, the main core of what it is that I do. It's really, we do actually live in the same home and we do speak to each other the same. But think about that. Think about, your friends, your girlfriends, your loved ones, your family, your in-laws, your spouse, if he's like mine, might not really see and, kind of get it. So it's kind of good to be able to have them take part of a little piece of your life.
I had a thought too. What if you got a hold of your local media people?
Yeah.
And just say, hey, we're doing this award. All they can do is not show up.
Right. Yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt.
If they show up, truth be told, I got married in 1984. Guess who I sent a wedding invitation to? President Ronald Reagan. Because I figured if he showed up, what a great story. And if he doesn't, it doesn't matter. I got a cool card that said, sorry, we can't come, but that's cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, oh yeah. So I was like thinking, okay, well, Ronald Reagan is gone. Can't invite him, but who else can I invite? So I just figure we should have fun with this and make it a celebration. And so I'm excited once we get all the format. I'm going to invite everybody I can think of.
There you go. I think it's going to be a fun thing. We're going to encourage the watch parties, and I know Felicia will get all the best information out to everybody. So we'll have a great time. Yeah. That's about it. I think.
I have one more thing, because I talked about this that I said I was going to talk about was what to do with your pets as you're returning to work.
Yes, let's talk about that.
I go through this every year. I always, I talk to people about this, you're home for the summertime, or families, they're home more in the summertime. The kids are home, they go back to work, and I'm constantly hearing from people about their terrible animals. And I'm a big advocate of there are no bad pets. There are only bad pet parents sometimes, and it's no disrespect to anyone. But what I want to say is that my cats, for example, are incredibly accustomed to having me around the house pretty much 24/7 these days. So what's going to happen is once things reopen and you're back to work and you're not around as often, they're going to notice that. So in order to avoid them acting out, you do want to make sure that you are dedicating some specific time to them. So if the entire family it's out of the house, then that's an issue. If for right now, the kids are still home anyway, or, there's someone who's there to take care of them, you're probably okay. But I'm talking about if everybody's going to be gone, or if you, like me, live alone and you are their entire world, just make sure that you're setting aside time for them. If you have dogs, for example, you might even want to have someone checking on that dog throughout the day, whereas normally you're like, oh, they can go 8 hours without someone checking in on them. Don't take that for granted, because they are going to notice that you're gone, and their only way to express themselves is often to act out. So whether that's chewing up your baseboards or peeing on your floor or whatever it might be, if you have any concerns, if they've had behavioral problems in the past, you might want to limit the amount of range that they have when you're not there. And like I said, just giving lots of love and attention and treats and such when you are around, to really help to make up for it, and making sure that you're balancing your time a little bit, that they are getting your attention. I know it sounds like a strange thing to be talking about with pets, but if you value the quality of all the stuff in your house, it's just a really good idea.
That's good. Communication. That's good. And I was thinking, but what do you do with a horse? I'm just asking. What do you do with a horse? I'm like,
they are very, very schedule-based individuals.
Yes.
They know the crack of dawn. They know when I'm going to feed. They know what time it is. They will all go to their spots of where I put them all. Sometimes I have to rearrange one or two of them, but they absolutely know where to go.
That's funny. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
They're good to go. Good. Any last words, Bobbie?
Well, you guys, just let's all use our common sense, and let's be positive towards each other. And, somebody's decision may not be your decision might not be somebody else's, but let's just encourage each other. And I, for one, am looking forward to getting to Vegas next year.
Same. Yeah. I'm going to have some picking up to do, I think, next year for sure. But yeah. And same. I mean, I think let's be kind, let's be respectful, and just, make sure that you're comfortable with whatever it is that you're doing. Don't let anyone else dictate what it is that you need to do in your business. You are the CEO of your business. You get to decide that. No one else does. Yep, absolutely. Be kind to each other. Don't bully each other. If you get bullied, call me. Yeah, she means it. She means it. She will mom them. She will mom them. Too funny. I'm telling you. Until next time, everybody. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say, I'm so happy everybody came today. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Great turnout. And we do appreciate you taking time out of your week to spend a little chunk of it with us. We certainly appreciate it. Until next time, check out RESA Convention. So it's 2020.resaconvention.com for details. It's very affordable, all webinar from the privacy of wherever you want to be at that moment. Until next time, everybody, happy staging and be safe. Bye. Bye, everyone.